Hello there guys. Today I'm going to be introducing you to a game by the name of Cloudberry Kingdom. A difficult platformer with an infinite number of levels. The game starts out on a nice demo screen with an absolutely impossible looking level, before allowing you to start out with something just a little bit easier. The story mode, which is a good starting point for Cloudberry, begins with a quick cutscene, a little humor, and a rehash on, say, the old Mario story. Then you get dropped into a level. The controls are rather simple, moving and jumping. There's nothing special about them. That isn't to say they're bad, as they are definitely solid controls. They just aren't the selling point that I'd say they are for something like Super Meat Boy. But as you pass through level after level, they are enough to help you traverse an increasing number of obstacles. Little spinny wheels of fire, basic enemies, large pits of death and despair. I think you get the drill. As the levels get more and more difficult, collecting the little crystals scattered around the place does as well. With that aspect of the game in place, you have a sort of built-in difficulty option. You can simply just try to get to the end, or you can go for that perfect score. After about 10 levels of establishing all that, things get a little more interesting. The first power-up we find is a pair of wings that allows double jumping. Later on, it's a jetpack. I'm not actually sure if power-up is the right term, as these things aren't optional. They are built right into the level design and are essentially new mechanics that spruce up the kingdom with a little variety. In addition, especially when you get further in and first experience the wheel, the power-ups can often do more harm than good. The story mode is extremely long, accounting for the difficulty, and I haven't nearly finished it yet. What I can tell you is that it's a lot of content, but if you're looking for an epic tale, or really anything beyond a couple cutscenes here and there, you might want to look elsewhere. Anyway, what the selling point of this game is not just a bunch of levels, but, once you head into the arcade mode, an infinite amount of levels. Procedural generation allows for the highest possible replay value, and the arcade mode isn't actually a mode in and of itself, but a collection of different modes, ranging from a basic, go as far as you can without losing all your lives, to a time trial mode, and you can do these modes in either the normal version of yourself, or the double jump, or the jetpack, or the wheel, or the other power-ups that you get later. The crystals that we saw earlier in the story are now used for score purposes, so it becomes quite addicting to run through these random levels trying to get a high score. Whether playing in the arcade or the story, you eventually get to a level of difficulty approaching that of the oh-so-scary title screen. That may be where some stop, and where others absolutely fall in love with the game. Cloudberry makes use of an artistic style that succeeds at what it's going for, a somewhat cutesy, silly, deadly kingdom. The electronic music going on in the background doesn't necessarily fit the style all that well, but it's still enjoyable music, and personally I find that, at least for the first few hours of the game, it manages to get me pumped enough to dive headfirst into the frustration that is this game. It's worth mentioning that the game has a local multiplayer option. I gave it a try and I had some fun for sure, but it's very bare bones. There's nothing special about the multiplayer. It's basically just throwing another player into the single player game, which is a little bit lazy, and I think it could have been a lot better if they designed stuff specifically around multiplayer, but still, if you want a good co-op game, this can still be it. You can still have some crazy fun, cooperatively trying to get through the levels, whether it be in the story mode or the arcade. Overall, it's a really solid game that just has a lot in it. If you're the kind of player that enjoys respawning over and over again in this type of challenging platformer, then Cloudberry Kingdom is basically a love letter to you. It has a ton of pre-designed levels, and once you get done with that, the randomness of it allows for a ton of replayability. The game is available on Steam and pretty much every other platform, so go check it out. I'll link to where you can do so below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I've been Maple Dungeons, and I will see you next time.